Yeah. Oh yeah. It's one of your what most. Oh no, it's uncontrollable laughter is your most viewed.
Oh yeah, that was from Gang Beasts.
Yeah, and then the Gurgurgur came in second place.
Gur gur
I don't
gur
know
gur.
what.
Yeah, dude.
Happy noises.
Yeah. Good, freaking grand old time. Yep. Good job, Alex.
He tried.
He really, really did.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, it's just stabby, stabby. You're fine.
Yeah.
I just got the notification for both of your streams.
Hello. Hey, how's it
All
going?
right, so we're just gonna kill some trios until we
Yeah.
get with Alex.
Yeah.
Until we get
You're not
with
gonna-
Alex. That sounds so weird.
In fact, you're not going to say the thing, are you?
I'm not gonna say what.
You're not going to say it, are you?
Say what?
That we're going to lose 4 games until he gets on.
Oh no! I have the utmost confidence in us tonight. We're gonna win every
Utmost
single
conf.
game.
Utmost conf, you know.
Well, you know,
Confidence.
I did, but now specifically, you and Britt are gonna lose, and I'll clear it with
Jeez, okay. Damn, brutal.
He's like, yeah, you know, I did, but now fuck you too.
It's like, I had all the confidence, now, yeah. It's
Now
the end.
Now I hope we lose the next 4 games until Alex gets here.
Oh, jeez. That is not a good thing, dude.
In fact, I'll actively throw
good thing.
fireflies at
Oh, if you find
Wait,
any
what?
fireflies, I'm. Oh my god, I want to. Oh no, feck, this is gonna be so bad for me.
What?
I'm pressing all the wrong buttons already.
That's what you get for winning a game without me, Britt. How could you?
Hey.
Wait, did you get a crown, Brit?
No, I got a win in Super Animal Royale.
Oh.
Which you haven't played with us yet, Vaughn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you still need to play that game. It's a really good game.
Vaughn.
Yeah, I have it on my PlayStation currently right now.
The customization is probably the best part of it.
I got 15, straight on 15. We're just violating this person. It's not nice. Person's probably not having a good time right now. Oh, okay.
I just fucking.
Damn. Forgot I had a crown too. What the hell?
I need to wake it up, and I think I know how.
Alright, where are we landing?
I don't know. I need to search a dumpster.
Oh,
Everywhere.
well.
Why are you looking at a computer?
Well, is it for the Paradise mission?
Yeah.
Perfection leads him to constantly destroy his notes.
Zach, are you muted?
Complex man.
Oh my god, shut
No.
the fuck up.
No.
Oh, you sounded so quiet. You just like, I thought you were muted at first.
No, I was looking at my quests.
What quest lies for the man himself?
Same one as you guys. I'm going for that dumpster.
I don't even have those quests anymore.
Wow, fuck you, Vaughn.
I know. I finished them quickly. All I have is talk to characters and
I
deliver
also
the
don't think there's
herald's
a dumpster
warning.
here.
I think you're correct
Should be.
about that.
It should be.
Damn it,
information
you
out.
opened the chest that I was gonna open.
It's this right here.
I don't know, there's people, I don't wanna
Oh!
face them yet. Yeah. Those guys.
What the fuck? Hold on.
Oh, where
shooting
the
at who?
fuck? What the
Where
fuck?
is everybody?
Where did he go?
Somebody
Oh,
right
he's
here.
up here. Oh, okay. Oh, come on, let me up. Let me up. Let me up. There we go. Holy shit. Hi.
What the fuck?
I got him low.
Oh, okay. I just
Does that
picked up
count?
somebody. Oh,
Holy
that
shit.
works. Oh!
Well, that's not what I meant to do.
That's
Ah,
not-
that's still not what I meant to do. Get him away.
There goes my crown.
Ah!
There goes my crown.
Hell yeah, guys. I got knocked and leveled up.
You got knocked and leveled up
Good
at the same
job.
time. What the hell?
Yep.
Did we just get fucking third-partied?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers. Man's name is More Snow.
I'm
No,
I'm
no,
watching
no.
I'm watching Jiggle Thighs.
What the fuck?
Jiggle Thighs. Yeah, that is his name.
That's his name.
Mr. Poombersky.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I do.
See? Yeah, yeah. I do that to Jackie a lot. She hates it. She hates me for it.
So it's just a friendly Fortnite thing. It's a universal way to fuck with your friends.
Yep.
You just fuck over your friend when you're trying to take the shield pot or something.
He just
He's
gave
like,
up. He decided
yeah.
not to.
He's like, fuck it.
Is this thing not finding a match for us?
It's finding a match. It's just taking a while.
I don't.
I just canceled and got a check mark now.
Cancel and ready up for it.
We're dead. Still not giving me. There we go. I'm like, still not giving me a check mark, but you know.
Ready, ready, and always steady.
What an
I'm kinda
interesting group of characters to be hanging out.
Yeah.
You say that as your Ezio. I'm Luke Skywalker, and Vaughn is
Just a
random
random Fortnite
Fortnite,
character.
girl. Yeah.
I am a character from the past. You're a character from also the past. Just
A
different-
galaxy long, far, far away.
And Vaughn is generic Fortnite girl 7.
Yeah. I'm probably, I've been wearing this skin a lot more. Yeah, I gotta start wearing Remedy now, because that is my favorite. Well, it's still my favorite skin to this day.
I'm like, she was your main.
Main, yeah, like 100% main.
Alright.
Yeah, like, yeah.
You know where we find a dumpster? Probably this place.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there's open dumpsters.
Have you still not
everywhere
landed here,
except for
Frank?
like the arrows.
No, I have.
Oh, okay.
Well, was it unmarked for him?
No, it's marked for me. I've landed here.
Oh, okay.
I just
It's
don't
weird
remember
how they-
landing here with him.
I don't know. It's weird how they changed the name. The Tainted Towers.
I mean, to be fair, it's tainted.
Yeah.
They've
I was
changed
ex-
the name of everything else, so they kind of have to.
Tainted. You got Lustrous Lagoon.
Well, Greasy is still
Grim
Greasy.
Brambles. R.I.P. to Shifty Shafts. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of missed it. Already. I think Greasy is next to be caught in the chrome too.
I think Chonkers is gonna be.
Chonkers?
Yeah, my bet's on Chonkers.
We're betting now?
Yep.
Why are we betting?
I mean, like, do you?
We don't have any actual money to bet, so it's fine.
Same.
Okay, so if you guys have to be honest, do you think this season is kind of like copying Chapter 2 Season 8 in a way?
I don't know.
Because we had the cubes and, you know, the whole island being corrupted. And now we got the chrome. just
I don't know. We
taking
also
over.
had the Cube Queen, and now we have the Herald. So I mean, kinda, yeah.
Yeah. I think,
Oh my God, you
it's
should be
not
dead.
nice.
Oh my God, he should be dead. There we go.
Right, you need help?
No,
help?
no, I got him. It's just Holy shit, that was ridiculous.
Rocket League!
Hello. Got that guy. Holy shit. Vaughn, what are you doing?
I hit them for 16
some
and 9.
Now I'm in Rocket League car.
Oh my god, that thing is unhinged.
That thing's amazing.
That thing's fucking crazy.
Ready,
job,
ready?
Vaughn.
I'm just gonna. Oh, okay.
Good job, Vaughn.
Thank you. Oh!
Good job, Vaughn.
What the fuck is going on?
Uh,
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Vaughn
I'm trying
doesn't
to
know how to
call the
drive the
wall.
Rocket League
Vaughn,
car.
ah, wait, ah, stop it! Stop! Stop, Vaughn! What the fuck? Get over here!
He's gone. He's gone.
Stop! Oh my
Is there
god!
only one on the map at a time?
No, there's multiple.
Beautiful.
Where the
Hey,
fuck?
There you
No, I wanted to just go.
go. Oh.
Whee! Oh,
You
never
didn't
mind.
go anywhere.
Come on, Feck.
Go ahead. Come on, Vic. Alright, let's see.
There we go. There we go. No, well, okay.
Okay, that didn't work.
Well, you
Oh,
completely
man.
flipped the fucking car. I wonder why we didn't. Wonder why we didn't stay on.
I don't even know where to go, honestly. Oh wait.
Oh, what
Huh?
the fuck? I don't know, but there's
Okay,
a
go
there's a vault up here and I have a key, so
I was gonna do something crazy.
you could do something
That
crazy
chicken
still.
ones.
Have fun.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
In fact, you want to join me? Or
No, I'm good. I'm good.
well, actually, I'll come to the wall.
Feck's like, yeah, no.
What the? Huh? Who's gonna share you with that?
I was in it for all of 10 seconds and got it stuck.
Feck! Really?
It's okay, I got it out. We're fine.
Got it stuck the
Yes.
whole time.
Nope, that's
Yeah,
not what I
man.
meant to do.
Oh
Oh, I
damn!
need to.
Thanks.
Hold on, let me.
I did not mean to do that, but thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, perfect. I just need 30 more.
Perfect. The fuck you mean perfect?
Perfect. Street Fighter, you know, right? Oh shit. I'll take
I only
that.
have fucking 45. Even if I have a big pot, I still need 5 more shield. What the fuck you mean perfect?
Hey, oh.
What the fuck? I've never done flips in it. Can you
Ah!
can you how do you flip?
Huh?
Hold
Oh, I see,
left
I see, I
trigger
see, I see.
and yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, hi.
Hi. How you doing? What is happening?
Good.
You guys don't even look like you're on the car. What the fuck?
There you
I
go.
think you're lagging, Rip. What?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
Oh.
Perfect.
That was,
Hold on.
that's pretty
Jump
good.
straight up and flip it upside down.
Oh, that's how.
Oh,
Ah.
God.
Oh my god! Vic, are you okay? What the fuck happened? Holy shit! What the fuck happened to you?
You hear that? Yeah,
What
take that as
happened?
a
Oh
win.
shit, there's another car. Wait,
60
come here, come here. Oh no, you guys got him in the fucking thing.
I took the car.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. Shit.
Get in the car.
Get in the car, Feck. Get in the car, Feck.
You can't even get in the car.
Oh no, Vaughn.
No.
Vaughn, just fucking run, dude.
Sorry,
back to
bro.
you.
What the hell?
Holy shit.
Are
Oh.
you
Oh, that's not
kidding
good.
me, man?
I'll come back for you guys.
That is so stupid.
Oh, that's so dumb.
How did I get out of that?
Oh, that's
Because
so
he took the other car.
stupid.
Vaughn, how did you not get out of that?
Dude, come on, that's
Oh,
lame. We were
no,
just
no,
having a
no,
bunch
they're-
of fun, and these fuckers are like, yeah, sure. Let's have fun with them.
Blew up the other car.
Oh, they blew it up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they blew up their car.
Oh my god.
You missed.
How?
I don't
I
know,
like
but you fucking missed.
Oh, and now you got him.
Oh, alright, yeah, sure.
I don't even know what that flip was, but that was
Dude,
impressive.
I do better tricks in this car than I do in actual Rocket League.
Now, if we're all playing Chapter 1 Fortnite, if you're to have
Oh,
What?
from
Oh,
a 720 front or back flip.
the ATKs, man, those were fun. Okay.
That's a front flip.
Feck, sounds like you're running out of gas.
It's fine.
Is it?
I think
It's
they're
fine.
still there.
We don't
It's
know. We're
50-50.
fucking reboot
Yeah.
cards, bro.
I said, do you think they're still there?
Oh, okay. I thought you just flat out asked, are they still there? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Imagine being able to see the view where your reboot card is.
Yeah.
Oh. Feck,
Hold on. Hold on.
Feck. Feck, this is
Holding
not working
on.
out, man.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Oh, nope.
Nope, nope.
Oh, hey, it has orange.
Do a barrel roll.
It has
Oh, never mind.
an orange boost effect. That's perfect for Feck.
Oh, there you go.
Good job. What are you?
I'm
doing?
trying to.
You can fucking get out of the car, Feck.
I think he's trying to put gas in there. Oh, if only you had a shield. If I only had another one, it'd be nice.
Oh, I think that was a blue
shield.
shotgun.
Was it?
Yeah, it was
It
my
looked like it, yeah.
chrome shotgun. Feck, it looks like you're not even putting gas in.
Yeah. It looks like a sad excuse for someone attempting.
Wasting their money from their
Yep,
bank
there you
account.
go.
Well, you got Tilted Towers, this reboot over here, or Flutter Barn,
Excuse me, what is Tilted Towers?
Tainted Towers, sorry.
You can go over here, which is just outside of the circle. Oh, unless you're going for here.
Oh! I heard shooting.
So you probably don't want
I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Says the guy who's aiming his car so that he
Oh, use the
doesn't
bunker to
have
cover yourself.
What?
Hopefully
Oh.
that works. Hey!
That didn't really work.
You are
I'm still
underneath
completely
the
exposed.
bunker, yeah.
Hey, Hey, I mean, it works.
The bunker is
I
just
think the
sitting
car
on
is
top
stuck
of his
now.
head.
Oh, I think the car. Yeah, I think the car's. Well, Britt, I will meet you at Flutter Barn.
I was about to say, what if the bunker, like, fucks up the rift? No, we're fine.
Oh, jeez.
Car's fine.
Nice. Alright, I'm stealing somebody's seed. That doesn't sound right.
Thanks, dude.
Of my car. No. Brett, drive.
Oh, okay, you are on it. I was just wondering if you were on it or not. Oh, did you just fly off?
I was.
Okay, well.
I didn't want you to
came out of
fly
that.
off of it.
You know what I just realized?
What?
Get out of the car, Britt.
Yeah.
Look at where it says my name is on the car.
Yeah, you are nowhere near in the driver's seat with your name. It's kind of funny. Oh, okay. don't land on me. I've gotten hurt by
What would
that car
happen if I
many
did?
times before. I really don't want to see.
Why? Let's get shit out of me. Dirty Diana. Where is the people? Oh my god, there's a loot over there. Holy crap. Very tempted. I'm gonna go for it. We.
Why don't we have the pump?
I don't know.
I want the pump back. Is somebody else driving a car? Guys, should we be concerned?
We
should be concerned. Somebody's rebooting.
Where?
Reboot.
Over there? Where the fuck is this reboot? Yeah, over here. Shit.
Oh, they got it off.
Yeah.
I hit him for
On my way.
105.
Oh, somebody's shooting?
I'm shooting at them.
Oh. Britt, I got minis and big pot for you.
Oh, yes, please. Quite needed. Ooh, shit, but there's people here.
Somebody's here.
Oh my god, that's you. Oh, you
Yeah.
scared the shit out of me.
Like this. No, no, no. No. There you go. And
Okay,
I understand your concern.
Okay, okay.
No way. There's
No
no
way.
way.
Oh, fuck.
There's no way that guy got me.
Did you get
Here.
his card? Where's his card? It was over here.
Over here. I gotta get Got it.
Go.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Run. Oh,
I
actually
ran out
got
of
me.
sprint.
wait, okay.
Oh, that worked.
Well, damn it.
Wow.
Didn't work for me, but I'm okay.
Oh yeah, that worked for me.
Run. Fuck. Fuck you guys. Oh my god. Where? Why? Fuck off. What the fuck, dude?
They got you?
Yes. Because they're down there.
Oh,
Fucking
it's
asshole.
third party.
Yeah.
There's
No,
way
no, it's the guy that Vaughn was fighting is the one who got me.
Oh.
Get out of here, loser.
Help.
Oh, Bray, if you can come down here.
I'm coming.
I got you. We're gonna hide in the bush for quick.
Yeah, hide. Fuck
Wait,
me, dude.
How you doing? Doing good?
I could be in better situations.
You guys aren't gonna have time to reboot me, so just win. No pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
Hey, Feck, remember how you said that we were gonna lose this shit? Fuck you. Remember how you literally said we were gonna lose? Go fuck yourself, you asshole.
Oh, I want to go back for those heals. There's actually those heals. I can
I-
probably go back.
I tried to have confidence
I'm
one time, and you guys told me to go fuck myself.
Yep.
So.
Right behind you.
Oh my
Alright,
god.
well, you guys win. I'm gonna say goodnight
Oh,
to Shy.
thank you.
I'm done.
Okay, nice.
I'm gonna say
Good night, Shy.
Good night, Shy! I didn't get to say goodnight to them.
Cool.
Run.
Shy says goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, watch out, Britt.
Woo!
Alex
Go
is
fuck
joining.
yourselves, you bitches!
Oh
What the
shit. This is
hell, man?
Oh my duck.
Duck.
Britt, we need to find another way.
Ah, shit.
She did not
Yeah,
find
no
another
kidding.
way.
Oh
How's
no,
everyone
I
doing?
can't go. Oh my god, I
Shit.
can't.
No, we're under heavy
Yeah.
fucking fire, dude.
Yeah.
You're doing shit.
Push.
Ow! Oh my god.
Oh no, it's
Nope,
not
nope,
in a
nope,
circle.
nope, 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 can't do that. Oh, come on, let me sprint already. Holy shit. Oh my god, fucking chill, you assholes.
What was that? Yes. Okay. Right here, Britt. Right behind these stairs.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw you this medkit first.
Oh, actually, that works.
Throw you this. 2 minis.
Holy shit,
for it.
dude. Okay. Run.
That was risky. Okay.
Also, totally not worth it for your health.
It's fine.
But he did it.
At least I got a mini out of it. Is there a sniper? There's a sniper.
Oh, shit.
Not worth it.
Guys up here, and a guy who just ran
Fuck it,
over
I'm
there.
I'm sorry, Elf. I'm sorry, I had to just.
God damn it, I wish I had a fucking bunker still, dude.
There was one back over
I
where.
know there
Feck
was
died.
one, but...
Yeah. They're fighting,
Somebody
so we can third party. Let's slow the shit. Holy shit.
What
Holy
the
crap,
fuck?
what is happening?
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say chill out a little bit. How does Feck have a key? Oh my god, you're rushing them, dude?
Knock one.
I'm trying to shoot the other one. I'm trying to get them on other fire.
I can't drive the car.
Oh, okay.
They're in the car, they're in the car.
They're in the car. What the fuck? Nice! Nice!
Hey!
Let's go!
Holy crap.
Nice job.
Good job.
Oh, let's go! Good job, man.
Oh my god. So
Holy
much pressure.
shit.
So much pressure.
Under pressure.
Yeah.
Din, 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 din,
Feck
din,
told us
din.
no pressure. There was so much pressure.
What were you singing?
Under pressure.
Wait, what happened, Alex?
Yes.
Yes.
Alex,
Oh.
answer for your
Hey, Jackie's on.
Alex, answer for your crimes.
Yeah.
Yes. What crimes?
Yes.
The crimes.
The crimes. Gotcha.
I'm also very confused, actually.
You know the crimes?
Yeah, you know, those crimes.
So anyways, how you nerds doing?
Good, good.
Don't mind me and Britt just walking.
I would join you guys, but I don't know the name of it.
Imperial March.
Oh wait, but it's gonna be a traversal. There we are. Ah! I'm doing things that I don't mean to do. Hey, Moon.
Oh my god.
Imagine how crazy this is just to walk into.
Oh, look, she can't see her emotes when she joins. She can't see her
I-
emotes when she joins.
Oh, really?
Nah.
That'd be pretty intimidating to join, be alone in the front of the map, and just have one marching up behind you.
Yeah.
We're coming. But the thing is, we're all facing to like the side, so we're all just gonna walk past her. Thank you, Feck.
We're the best at intimidating.
Oh, I think I have.
She
What
has
is
it
that?
too.
What is the Ghostbusters song?
I don't know what the name of it is, but
It's called I'm Afraid.
It's
Alright,
called
there you go.
I'm Afraid.
I
ain't
ain't.
afraid.
I ain't afraid.
Ghostbusters.
How do I not have the Ghostbusters fucking emote, bro?
Who you want to call? Oh, so stupid. No good. Who you gonna?
Nope.
As I'm singing this song and I'm hearing weird noises in my room. What the fuck?
Well, someone on your end. I think Vaughn, you have to ready up.
Oh, ooh, my bad. Sorry.
No, you're not.
Well, really depends.
It depends.
Is Maggie feeling any better, Alex?
What up? What up?
Is Maggie feeling any better?
She is feeling much better. Yes.
Good.
Is she gonna be here?
We will see.
Okay.
Maya he, Maya hoo, Maya ha ha.
Well, you skipped a line.
I don't care.
I was going to say the same thing, but hey, he's having his fun, you know.
Well, you can't have your fun without being accurate.
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 You gotta be accurate. Oh, fuck.
Accurate. Oh, that felt awful. Yeah, I felt awful.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Here's somebody in the background. Hey, are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm just trying to say something right so it can make sense, you know?
No, I have to say it accurately.
Yes. Why does that remind me of Achman, the Dead Tennis?
Noise just makes me want to fucking throw up. It's so gross.
Hi Moon, welcome to Strem. I didn't realize you texted in Strem.
She texted.
Texting in stream, not chatting in stream.
360.
Yeah, you don't enter a chat message. You text us. You text your
In Twitter.
streamers. Yeah.
She's probably on push to talk because her siblings are being loud. That's my guess. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Can't wait for the day when we're all in our mid-30s to 40s and people don't know what Twitter is.
I mean, I don't think people 10 years from now. Oh wait,
Huh?
never mind. I'm
Wait.
going over here. Fuck y'all.
Oh, okay. I still need to do my Paradise mission.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm over here. Because there's one that's here and then there's one over by Greasy, so I'm gonna land here and go to Greasy. Because we start with weapons, so okay.
Wait,
Oh
hold
my
up.
god, we have building in this mode. I haven't used building
You know, I
in
just realized-
Yes, we
ages.
do.
Oh god.
I just realized that this is my first time playing a team role in this season.
I think it's all of ours.
I thought we played it once at the very beginning. I could be wrong.
I definitely didn't.
I don't remember it if we did. That's for sure.
I don't remember us playing Team Rumble this season. I remember last season, but this season,
I know you love him, Amy, but you gotta admit the guy's a little.
it feels weird. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was thinking something else, but let's
Plus the building,
split the diff and go with eccentric.
you know. I'm lagging.
Did he just say split the diff? The
Huh?
fuck? In one of the Paradise
what?
missions, he said, let's split the diff.
That don't sound. That didn't sound right.
Fucking old
What?
guy.
What?
So take the shield.
Yeah, that sounds
All right,
right.
we also have redeploy. We also have redeploy.
Read.
Oh. I also
I forgot
did
about that.
definitely
I
forget,
did too,
yeah.
which is why I said it.
God, we haven't done Team Rumble in forever. Holy shit.
Actually factual.
Actually factual.
Let's see what they. Hey,
Actually.
Actually.
Where are we going, Tech? Oh,
Was that you?
Away.
Yeah. Alright.
I'm
Hey,
leaving.
you found
You
a
know,
piece.
peace out.
Fuck y'all.
Vaughn, I found it.
What did you found?
It.
Where you at, Vaughn?
Oh, what? Huh?
Where'd you go?
I blobbed away.
Bombed away.
What?
Don't worry,
Blob.
I
Oh,
will-
that's so...
Dude, the fucking Octane is so fun to drive. What the fuck?
What the shit?
Come here. No.
Oh, that's what you found. Hi. Oh, okay. I don't land him.
What happens if I do?
I don't know. Oh, try it.
That actually hurt you?
Oh god, no, but you make my screen go all strange.
Somebody's healing over this way.
Yeah,
Wait, so what are we practically doing? I'm confused.
Just be the first
Oh.
team to 115 kills.
Both of
hey
you.
guys.
Hey.
Whoop.
It definitely sounded like someone was healing over here, but I don't see anybody. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're just having fun.
We're great. We're awesome.
Dude, I fucking love this car.
Awesome? Me? No, couldn't be me.
Yeah, Vaughn, where are you? Oh wait, yeah, you can't see
an
you.
enemy driving this car. I just don't know where they are.
Okay, that was new.
Yeah, because only one person could drive an Octane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense though.
Which is allowed a bullshiz. You say it like that, bullshit.
Yeah, it just kind of sucks. That only one person can be in it.
Oh,
Shouts to Vaughn spending bars.
Feck.
What's up?
I'm sure you heard the news already.
About
About the man himself.
yeah.
These guys are bitches.
You talking about the Power Ranger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are bitches, man.
What?
They blew up my car.
Oh.
Oh, hi Vaughn. That's my supply
hi.
drop.
We're
BT
In the car
dubs.
alone.
We are losing a lot of amazing people. And it fucking sucks.
Amazing people.
Dude, my dad said like a couple people that the world is going to not going to be used to is well, my mom also is a CEO.
That's what you get for trying to come back for me, you bitch.
Get out of here. There's a trying to drive away.
He literally just saw me, decided to land on me, and I one-shot him.
Damn.
That's what he gets. Shouldn't have been a bitch.
But what if I want to be a bitch?
Well, then you can be a bitch. I ain't gonna stop you from being a bitch.
That's true.
I'm just saying he's being one, and he's getting what he deserves for being one.
How close does the circle get?
What up? What up?
Right?
It starts
Hey,
moving.
Deadpool.
Started moving.
Oh yeah, the circle starts moving soon, I think.
Oh yeah,
Wait.
yeah, when it gets small enough.
No, I don't
Wait.
think the circle moves.
Yeah,
No,
it's
circle
moving.
moves.
I
Yeah.
don't. Does it move
Not
in
this
Team
one.
Rumble?
Not this one. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
literally right now it's moving.
Help,
'Cause
help,
you could,
help,
You
soul.
could see it's out of. It's
Come
in
on,
the
come
store
on.
for part of the next
Oh.
circle.
Well, okay, so when I hear moving, I think like we have to move with it, like Horde Rush.
Oh, we will in a minute. Oh, in fact, actually, it's happening right now.
Huh? What's happening?
Britt is explaining what is happening exactly right now.
Oh.
I get what you're trying to say,
hi,
but I
Alex.
promise you what's happening right now is exactly what that is. And hi.
I
It's
saw
just,
you
it's just
flying
not
by.
what I picture when I think of a moving storm.
Ah!
Yeah, but that's what it is in Rumble.
I gotcha.
I think I just saw her die.
What's up, Goku?
That's so upsetting.
So
Oh, I
I
did.
just saw
I
her
definitely
die.
did just see her die. Hey, what's going on, man?
Wow.
Damn, that's kind of tough.
It's kind of cold.
Who's trying to
Don't you
be
think?
me like a bitch?
Hi, Alex.
Oh,
Hi,
is that you?
Alex.
Or are you guys just seeing me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching you.
Sorry if that bullet went over your
Damn.
head.
Wait, who took my kill? Oh man, I'm upset.
Everybody takes your fucking kills
So it wasn't
in
me.
Team
I
Rumble,
know,
dude.
but like, I worked so hard on that car to explode.
I was about to walk right into the fucking fire. Jesus Christ.
Do what I do. Just do it.
Ah!
What's going on,
Don't
Goku?
shoot me! Who the fuck just shot me?
What's
Wait,
going
what?
on, Goku?
Oh my god.
Who the
Ball
fuck
Saqui.
shot?
The fuck?
Yeah, that sounds about
Ball
right.
Saqui took my kill.
It's a nice name.
I've gotten
Damn
one
it.
kill and I should have like 4 right now.
I don't have any kills, but to be honest, I haven't really been paying attention.
Same. Just been running around.
I, mean, I could be working on
Yeah.
my missions. Loot legendary. Oh, that happening. Hunt a
Missions?
hunt glowing loot animal. Oh, is it talking about like sharks?
Yeah.
Sharks.
Sharks,
wolves,
chickens,
chicken.
birds.
Gotcha.
Wolves
I
glow now.
guess a chicken is a bird, but
Get out of here.
you know they're classified
Fucking
differently, I
life.
guess, in this game.
Whoa! Quick scope. I found
Oh,
myself.
I need a suppressed SMG and I need a
I found an
vehicle
imposter.
call. Oh, he has a dub. He has a dub.
Lots of
He has a
them.
dub.
But they're not getting this dub.
What do you mean he has a
Get it.
dub?
Careful. The shotgun. The dub.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Bruh.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Somebody keeps shooting me, and I don't know where they're shooting me from.
And I just don't appreciate it.
I really don't, though.
Ah.
Oh, damn it, I was gonna kill that
Well,
guy.
damn.
Oh, you
I
son of a
know,
bitch.
kill.
What the
All of us
fuck?
were here to do it.
Oh, man. Someone just stole
I
my
was just-
fucking kill. Oh,
I was about to drop down on top of him and I just watched him get obliterated.
Yeah, I know. I was coming in with the pistol and just starting to spam, and then they died right before I shot.
Got him.
Damn.
And then Moon was the one that actually got it. So they had 4 people on him. He was not living.
Oh no, he's not.
Who's going to die either way?
He was going to die. I got a grapple.
Ah, what the
Yeah.
fuck just happened?
Well, you probably got hit.
Starts with-
Ow!
I just got hit with the dub.
Eh.
Yeah, that
Feels
sounds
bad,
right.
man.
I think that's what killed you, Brett.
What kills you make you even stronger.
What kills you
Nope,
makes you
nope,
stronger, yeah.
that's not.
I think it just
That's
kills
not
you.
how that works.
I think it
What
just
the
killed you.
fuck?
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. I found an SMG that I needed. Ah!
Okay, I just want to kill one of you bitches.
Oh come
Nope.
on! Give me
No,
the
I
light,
landed
give
in
me
front of 5 people. That
snipe.
was a stupid idea.
That was exactly what you wanted,
4
right?
people, but I'm going to take the risk.
Only if I had a rocket launcher. If I had a rocket launcher, I'd be fucking wrecking these people.
It's 2. It's 3.
So don't die, please.
What a bitch. I
Oh,
set
what
a
the-
fire and I
what
set
the
up my chair
fuck
next
did
to it
that
and the
guy
man shot me.
That's 4. That's 5.
Oh, son of a bitch. Where did he go? There he is. Fuck you, you asshole.
Fucking go. So happy. Oh, come here, chicken.
Ah!
You play now.
Ah! Go fuck yourself.
Got you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a lot more gliding than I thought. Jeez.
I am not gonna get
There's a lot more
a
things to
lot of
do
health
than I
from that
anticipated.
shit.
What happened?
Huh?
Bitch.
I heard Vaughn say something, but I didn't understand what he said.
I said there's a lot more things I anticipated. I don't know. Smack!
I have a single kill, but it was the dub guys, so that's cool.
That is cool. Good
You know
job.
what-
I'm proud of you.
what that was.
Thanks, man.
Like, how are they?
Hey,
behind-
hey!
Okay, I'm just gonna go gliding.
Yeah,
See you guys later.
I'm not even caring about a fucking high kill anything.
Yeah, I'm currently on a mission.
Trying to kill this guy. Must be the. Oh, get out of here.
That was a friend who just fucking murdered that guy.
I love murdering people.
There's my 250. There we go. Heyo.
Oh my god, kill her! Woohoo! Got her.
Killer with
Jesus
fire.
Christ. Ah! Holy shit! Holy
Oh,
shit!
that person disconnected. That's bullshit. I was shooting somebody, but they disconnected.
I killed somebody, and like 4 people were like, "Yeah, nah, we're not gonna let that shit happen," and fucked me
We're
up.
not gonna let you kill, or you're not gonna let
Yeah,
them
didn't
kill?
let me kill. Ah, come the
No.
fuck on! I should have hit him. That bullshit.
Where did that come from?
Oh man.
You really came back.
How? Oh my god! How? Why are they popping off right now?
Oh yeah, we're about to lose. GG's.
What the fuck?
No, we got this.
There's
that guy.
They have one more kill to get.
Got that guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
How the hell did they pop off like that?
Hey, whoa, hey! Vaughn,
What?
chill.
I was about to say, we probably had a lot of people disconnect.
One of them got the dub, and the other one had a goo gun, so they probably just.
Hey Mags,
fucked with
welcome to the stream.
Vaughn, you were like right in front of my camera.
them. Back to
How's
lobby.
it going?
Hey,
Oh,
dude.
Okay.
Lobby?
I think
Moon went
Feck
back
might
to
have
lobby.
accidentally pressed it.
No, Moon did. Or at least it told me Moon
Sorry,
went
that
back
was
to
me.
lobby.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. We're going back.
Oh man.
Now I have what doesn't kill you makes you stronger stuck in my head. You guys are assholes.
You're welcome.
How was that our fault?
Because y'all were fucking singing it. What do you mean, how's that your fault?
You're
I
welcome.
didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Then it's fucking Vaughn and Alex.
That is true.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, it's not. I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head all fucking night.
Hmm.
I wait for the...
Okay, how the fuck did he make that?
Carefully.
What are
But
you
he was
talking
off
about?
that. No, he was off balance. What the fuck?
I think he's talking
I
about
swear,
sports
Stephen
ball,
Curry is an
guys.
alien.
I think he's losing it.
Sorry.
Thanks, of course.
It's just Stephen Curry is an alien. Let's just say that.
Hmm. Okay. Basketball.
Yeah. Once he gives him the basketball and he
Well,
throws
yeah,
it
kinda,
at the hoop, he just makes it.
I kind of got that after he said he was off balance.
Right here.
kill you, makes you stronger.
Hey,
Sing a little.
don't hit me, bitch.
No.
Oh wait, am I being stupid? Yeah, there's a whole fucking week until the end of the season. There's another week.
Oh.
It doesn't end this weekend. I was thinking it was ending this weekend for some dumbass reason.
Yeah, what's his name? Returning as CEO of Disney.
Ye old Disney.
I know it's hard to understand.
I didn't get to look again.
Especially
What are
when
you
you're
talking about?
Ask
Yes.
Jones about the Blueprint project. He thinks it's
Bob,
confidential.
Bob Iger?
Because he keeps telling everyone about it. Which reminds me,
Jaeger?
why don't you extract everything
Eddie
he knows
Jaeger.
before he figures out what top secret means?
Whenever I hear Jaeger, I just think of Jägermeister.
Yes.
What the fuck is happening?
Kind of smell like a baka.
Wait, what?
Eddie Yeager.
Can you guys give me your guys' best ada-adas?
Ada, ada.
My soul.
What?
No. Okay.
Wait, what happened?
Vaughn, just accept it.
What? Should I do it again?
Yes. Everyone do it again. I want to hear it one more time.
No.
Alright.
Feck, accept it. Come on, man.
Just do it.
No.
You're a
Why
bigger
not?
man if you just accept it and do it.
Be a
No.
bigger man. He doesn't care about that shit. What do you mean?
Alright, go ahead, Alex.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
hi. How you doing?
Not bad. Alright, my turn.
Not bad.
What?
Sounds like you were gargling on something.
Yeah. What?
Me?
What the fuck? Yeah.
Da-da-da.
As it's been done.
As-
Oh, person that's in the kitchen just looking down on the floor.
Alright, well, I completed that mission.
Ooh.
That's another hammer. I got 3
well-
fucking ARs from one vault.
What about you, Jackie?
Shit, this is a drop, but there's gonna be fucking assholes on it.
I need to call a vehicle drop, but I don't have the weapon for it.
Assholes are amazing. Wait.
What?
What?
Huh?
Take that out of context.
Yeah, please.
Please don't.
I'm
Please don't.
clipping it right now.
I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm sorry.
Oh, you did.
Too late, Mom. There's no going back.
There's no going back.
That's gonna be on the TikTok for a week.
Yeah,
The
probably.
TikTok,
The TikTok of the week.
Of the week, thank you. Cannot say any type of words or sentences, grammar. Grammar is not my thing.
English.
Can you do the ada?
I did,
Nada.
yes.
Nada.
Or did
Oh,
you,
shit.
Did you
Hi,
ignore it
Bo.
this time?
How you doing?
Hey, Bo.
I did not even know that you were here. Hi. I
Welcome
don't
to
know.
Ada Ada.
I don't know. Oh. I don't know how long that chat was here for. I'm
Ah.
sorry, Bella.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
That's a
Bella's my
dumb-
sister.
that's
Do
a
it one more
dumbass
time. Just
mission.
one more time.
Bella Poggy. Bella is Poggy.
Why are you asking us to Ada Ada?
Yeah. That's a
Definitely
good
not for
question.
a TikTok.
For Twitch clips.
It's for
Twitch
TikTok.
clips, yeah.
Exposing everybody by saying Ada Ada.
Exactly.
Ah,
Yeah, that was better than your first one, to be fair.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh god,
Yeah,
you
no, I agree.
man.
I agree. But no, that scream got me off guard.
I
Sorry.
think
No,
she just
no, you're
didn't
fine.
record that
I
one,
thought it was
and she
funny.
got upset.
I didn't mean to go up all the way.
That's what she
But
said.
you did.
Okay, you know what? Shut up, Soul. God dang it.
I mean, to be fair, everyone else was thinking
making me
it.
flustered.
Why the fuck is the vehicle drop just a car with the fucking breakers on it, man?
Not
What?
funny.
Did it give you one that had the
The cow.
The cow. You know, the cow. You know.
You know what I would love
This is a
to
fucking
see come
cow
back?
tied to the front of it.
Inflatable.
Moo.
Inflatable needs to come back.
Inflatable was
What?
fun.
Oh,
Inflatable.
you are
Yeah.
so right, actually. Except for the fact that that thing actually broke.
That is
So-
true. It broke in creative.
Excuse me.
Nasty.
Sorry. Ooh, hello, beautiful.
Okay, can't do that mission. I need to find a
That's
shark
not
to
what I
kill.
wanted. What the fuck?
Oh, I also need to go down to Tilted.
Hi. There's a
You mean
shark there.
tainted?
I just drove over somebody and it didn't do anything.
Wow.
Did they have
I literally
a white arrow?
No,
above
they
their
were
head?
literally crouched. No. They were literally just crouched, not even looking at me, sniping somebody. I drove over them with the fucking cow cutter truck.
Oh, sorry.
Nothing.
No, it's okay.
What is that thing called? It's called a cow something, and I never remember the second name. The second
Cow
word. I mean.
catcher?
Catcher.
That time it worked. Why didn't it work the first time?
No, I didn't want to go down.
Cause fuck.
I guess so.
Oh, Alex, I found a shark. It's a glowing shark.
Oh, where?
Ah! What the fuck?
You did heavy.
Where?
Maybe dying.
Where?
English.
Where was that bitch?
Where'd it go? Oh, it's over here.
I'm coming.
Where the fuck was that?
Somebody's literally trying to.
Owie. I had just gotten all my fucking health, and then this bitch.
Underwater car. That worked
There
out
you
very
go.
well.
Okay. It's a gold lever if you want it.
Oh wait, did you already kill it?
Somebody already killed it.
Damn it.
I tried.
I mean, I'll take the golden lever, but no, I wanted the shark.
Yeah, he needed the shark.
Where is the man himself?
I am
Let's see.
underneath the house at Loot Lake.
Oh, Feck and I had a really weird, like,
Oh.
glitched shark in one of our games.
Yeah, I'm next to an AFK Feck, if that helps.
That does not help, Devon.
Well, if you knew where Feck was. I wasn't sure if you
Oh,
knew where Feck was.
hi,
oh,
Alex.
oh, is that you?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks.
Was there any
It's like,
nearby?
Alex, you don't need to tell
not
him where
really.
you are. You're your skin, and you're the only one with that skin.
I'm the only one that ever uses the skin, yeah. There's no chrome vortex in a good area. If I could find another shark, that'd be pretty banger. Can't do that mission this game. If I could find some firefly jars, that'd be pretty banger.
Oh,
Some firefly jars.
Yeah, because I need to set things on fire and set people on fire.
Okay, that was you guys. Okay.
hey. It's time to
Duel. Ow.
Who's setting things on fire over here?
Ow! Nobody except for the guy who's fucking
But it wasn't
exploding
me.
shit. We had an enemy in the water with the, in the boat that was setting shit on fire. Or exploding
Enemy
shit and
underwater.
setting shit on fire.
enemy underwater.
I blew myself up.
Blew yourself up?
I blew my.
Ah! Fucking Christ.
You blew yourself up. Wow.
Mm,
Ow!
I guess I could have.
No.
Get him, Britt. Fuck him up.
Oh, thank you to whoever sniped that motherfucker because I got sniped.
Come on.
in my ass.
Fucking kill him. Jesus Christ.
Was that an
Oh,
enemy?
these fuckers heal fast.
Got him.
What?
Oh, oh.
A chromed frog, if you like shoot it and then leave it alone, it heals up from like the chrome, like extremely
Oh,
fast.
hi! Hi, Gwen! Oh, what the fuck? I hit her!
Wait,
Yeah.
did you?
Well, I mean, you got her.
Why does it sound like you just got- Wait, why does it sound like you just got punched in the stomach?
I,
probably
yeah, yes. BB punched me in the stomach, you know?
Makes sense.
Oh, BB did?
Yeah, it was BB's fault. Oh my
I thought
god!
you maybe I thought maybe your sister was in the room.
Yeah.
On standby.
Megan fucking decked me, you know, it's fine.
Hey, I'd believe it. I wouldn't put it past her.
I mean, same.
Ah,
Oh, whoa! Not very good.
oh my god. Oh my god.
Jesus. That was something.
Yeah.
This is
I
like the
agree.
right shotgun I should be using. So.
I was just using this gun because I needed it for a mission, but now that I have that
Damn
mission
it.
done,
Somebody else just fucking killed the bird.
I have a fishing rod. Maybe I'll get a better weapon. No.
Man,
I wanted a
somebody else
fishing rod.
Hey,
fucking killed
Sonny,
that bird.
would you like to try
Oh, not you, you asshole.
to borrow a rod?
What are you doing?
Me?
Yes.
Nobody knows.
Well, that's why I asked.
There's a line from Sonic
Uh-huh.
Frontiers where you meet Big Cat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you
What? What?
Have you seen Froggy?
Sonic Adventure, Big the Cat's always the best one.
Bro, my concentration face is
Not
just
her.
sticking out my fucking tongue.
And I'm excited for the Sonic Prime TV show that's coming out.
Oh, so am I. I already have that on my watch list.
Where's the Batman Who Laughs? Where the
Get
fuck
your
did that guy go?
gooey shit out of my face.
I still have not seen any Firefly jars.
What did they want?
I haven't seen any place for fireflies, so like,
I don't
Can't
think
help
like
ya.
they spawn when it's a certain time of the day, but it's too bright out now. Earlier in the match it was darker.
was that?
It was. That's why somebody had a shit ton of them.
Hey, I'm lagging on my game.
Oh, there's a person over here. They're
Couple
under.
persons over here, dude. Oh my god,
They're
Alex,
under.
Alex, I
I'm
heard
nervous.
the footsteps and then I saw you and I almost fucking shot you.
Yeah, no,
Holy
they're-
mama.
Yeah, they're under the island.
I realize I have not built this whole time.
Holy
Here,
shit.
zero build.
I only build when I need to because that's the way my mind works. Because
Batman
you
who
guys
laughs!
don't want to play with builds.
Batman who laughs, fuck you.
Nice job.
I hate the Batman who laughs. That motherfucker like fucking dropped on top of me and one shot me. Fucking hate him. Batman who laughs as a character is pretty dope. That guy sucks. Oh, fucking Norman Reedus.
How many do we have? Oh, 115.
I think we.
Thanks.
Oh, I don't know what we need to go to.
Fuck them up.
Hey,
Shit.
bye, Spider-Man.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck them up.
Oh, let's go.
There's another person over here.
I don't even know
It's
where
Batman. That laughs.
Batman who laughs, but yes.
That laughs.
Nice.
We win.
to. Nice.
That was a very hectic final. Like couple minutes.
Oh, it's a cute cat.
Yeah, that was crazy, dude.
Don't go back to lobby. Just hit ready.
No.
I'm so sorry.
Why does it say that none of us are readied up?
Hmm?
Back to lobby.
I am really sorry.
All right, back to lobby we go.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Yeah, I think you said it a little too late there, Alex.
I finally got the Herald. I've been neglecting doing those missions for so long.
I don't even have anything from her yet. I have her spray.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
no,
think that's all I have too.
I finally got the Herald herself. And those missions have been out for like 4 weeks now. Probably longer.
Wow, I haven't ignited 50 structures? What the fuck? What is
Yeah,
wrong
that's
with
the
me,
mission
bro?
that I've been trying to find fireflies for.
What the fuck is wrong with me, man? If we had the fire snipe, I'd be fucking.
Oh
goated.
shit, you're right. What's the name of the one skin where you're like part chrome? The wannabe Midas, what's his name?
Oh,
Midas.
Uh,
Talking about bite?
Am I wrong? Yes.
his name is Bites.
Yeah, okay.
You're a little late on that. I needed to swap the bite for a mission.
Did you wait?
You know, you
Yes.
can look at the missions and it would tell you bite missions, right?
Well, no, oh.
Oh,
Dude, I
did
still have
you-
week 2 quests. What the fuck?
I think I still have a week
Is
one
it the
quest.
is it the slide and hit people one?
No, I have 2. I have shoot targets while ziplining and emote for 5 seconds in the flare ship.
Those are both very easy missions.
Yes, they are. You are correct. I just
Oh,
haven't
don't
done them.
Did you guys see? So there's a spray. It has Midas's hand covered in chrome, and it says silver gold. Wait, silver to gold.
Silver and gold. Silver
And-
and gold.
Donald Mustard said that Midas is still alive. So I have a feeling
Someone
that he might end up
Mustard? What?
showing up. Donald Mustard, the guy who makes the story for Fortnite.
Got it.
Dijon mustard.
Dijon
Dijon.
mustard, yeah. I was gonna say, I was gonna do like a pun on Donald Duck and mustard, but I'm like, I can't fucking find it.
I just stuck with Dijon because it's my favorite mustard.
I don't like mustard.
I don't either, but Dijon's actually kind of good.
I don't even like honey mustard. It's just bad.
Honey's good. Honey's good. I don't really consider it a mustard though, because it's much sweeter.
I feel like that would hurt people's eyes. I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
Are you really?
I just pressed the up button again.
Down.
I'm never
Damn, bro.
I'm never gonna not, man. I don't know. Where's the
Never gonna
Is that the
not.
flash?
I've never heard that before. But
Never gonna.
never gonna.
You've never
give you
heard
up.
never gonna not?
I was just singing that.
The fuck?
Never gonna give you up. I'm gonna let you down.
I'm gonna run around and desert you.
Desert you.
Never gonna make you cry.
Never gonna
gonna
say
say
goodbye.
Where the
Oh my
fuck
God.
is Jonesy?
I
Where
don't
the
know, I
fuck
was
is
trying to find
Feck?
him
What
last
happened to you, man?
Oh, wait, I forgot we don't.
Oh wait.
Wait a minute,
Fire gliders
NPCs are
automatically.
disabled
Yeah, NPCs are disabled.
because we're in Rumble.
I can't
Well.
say shit.
I literally like shifted gears just so I can do that mission before I went to go to the TV,
Really?
and I forgot that they're fucking disabled. Well, if I can get to that Chrome Vortex, I would complete another mission, so that's hype.
Oh, that's awkward.
Just like me.
Is this not the flare ship?
If you
Emo for
click on
5
it, it should tell
seconds
you
in
where
the
it's
flare
at.
ship.
Okay.
It doesn't tell me where it's at.
Weird.
Oh, this is the driftwood. Oh, I just fucked up.
bitch.
Oh well.
This is a weird mission. Why would I want to drive in a car here?
Why wouldn't you?
Cause why not?
Woo! And there we are.
Oh my god.
What the hell? Me driving.
What the hell is in that whiplash?
What do you mean, what the hell is? What are you talking about?
Somebody
Whiplash.
having fun in the whiplash right now.
Special chest.
Oh.
Let's go.
I mean, thank you. I
I kind
appreciate
of helped you. What the hell?
Yeah, you did.
Whee!
Gain shields assisted by Warzy1.
Hi.
Have to be in a
Hi.
dumpster.
Shoutouts to Warzy1, the one and only.
Yes.
The one and only Warzy the first.
Warzy the first.
As opposed to Warzy the second.
I hope when I'm gone, somebody just takes up the name Warzy 2 and it just keeps fucking going.
Warzy 3.
Warzy 3.
If I
Whoa! Whoa! Why did 3 people come at us at what the fuck is that bullshit?
You said it yourself. Bullshit.
Bullshit, yeah.
If I start using a voice changer and I really lean into the VTuber thing, I could replace myself at any moment and nobody would ever know.
True.
Yeah.
Someone just fucking bailed on me.
I mean, TikTok has a voice changer, so I mean, that's a fresh start.
Why would you replace yourself?
I mean, I wouldn't
Technology.
wish, you know, like maybe in like
technology, yeah.
50 years or something when I die, that can just live forever.
You could literally have that.
You're only giving
futuristic
yourself
one.
50 years?
Yeah. Well, that's
You'd be
smart,
like
if I'm
in
being
your
honest.
you'd be in your 70s. I mean that's it's an okay life, but come on, man. Strive for the longest. Live your best life.
It'll be like that, you know, that those like futuristic technology is just like they'll take your brain out and they'll replace it, you know.
No.
brain, so
This
that's
person.
something.
Feck is like,
This person
nah,
is really
man. When I'm
slow,
gone, I'm
man.
fucking gone. Feck is one of
I'm
those people
struggling
that when he dies, he's like, fucking feed me to the wolves. Get me out of here.
I struggled
just
with
want
this
out.
lifetime. I don't need another one.
Bye, bitch.
I'm pissed off. Somebody like killed me, and they probably took my octane, and I need an octane for a mission, dude.
Hello. Oh, nice.
Thank
Get that
you.
sweat out of here, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get that one.
Yes. Okay, I'm never doing that again.
Yas, queen.
Yes, gaga, yeah.
Search. Oh, search chromed chest. Excuse me, game. Goodbye.
Oh, that guy should have died. That's bullshit.
What in the fuck? Oh,
Fuck,
Jesus
what?
Christ. We got sweats in Team Rumble, so...
We always do.
Yeah, that's
No,
not
not
really.
last game we didn't. I swear last game we didn't.
Almost always do.
Got him, bitch.
Yeah, if not always, almost always. Definitely. Fuck you, fucking Deathstroke,
Surprise, bitch.
bitch. Cannot evade me for long. Okay.
Don't worry.
Oh, this thing has like no health on it. Jesus
Fucking
Christ.
Deathstroke was coming back for me, but jackass.
Golden man cake.
People
Yeah,
seem to
that's the
hold
one
a
that's
fucking
fucking...
grudge, dude.
No.
Oh, golden man cake.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a skin.
Yeah. The extra,
Oh,
extra
fuck.
item. I gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, bitch.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
Bruh.
You're a loser. Get out of here.
Bruh.
Oh my god, I thought that was a zombie chicken again. I'm like, it's not Fort Embers anymore.
It came back. It's a zombie.
It's a zombie. You went on
Oh,
this for the
you're talking about the
zombie.
chrome one?
Yeah. Where are you, bitch?
Paka.
Did you just squawk like a chicken?
Gobble gobble.
Gobble gobble.
That's close enough.
You know, like that gobble gobble.
But no, no.
No! They're trying to kill my chicken.
Fuck your chicken.
How am I not hitting those shots? I'm never using this weapon again. Unacceptable.
Oh, I'm dead. Oh, that was an ally that did that.
That's so fake.
This is an unacceptable condition.
No.
No.
Sorry.
Hey Britt, we can go back to those days where
Dude.
it sounded like Finn scream every time she gets spooked out or something.
Shit.
I want to hear that now. What's your weirdest favorite Cartoon Network cartoon show?
Ooh, headshot.
Tom and Jerry, which technically counts.
Tom and Jerry is like the best.
Tom and Jerry is a
Dude.
classic.
Tom's fucking scream is
Oh, fucking.
nothing to stop at.
Yeah, I
Fucking
don't know how you
crazy.
Iconic.
Oh, Maggie, was that an invite request or is it a request to join?
Ow! Mamma mia!
Yeah, okay, that was the right one. Okay.
Oh,
Mamma mia,
Oh
Figaro.
my god. I don't care about team members. Jesus Christ.
Hey, Maggie.
Hey, you're rocking in their boyfriend harder. Oh, they're on. They're not here.
got him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're taking out the sweats today. Smack
Yep,
him!
found a soccer skin. There it goes. Oh, I'm being beamed. I'm dead.
Yeah, I was being mean too.
I'm getting beat. I'm dead.
Stop. Pissing
Fuck.
Oh shit.
What
Oh,
did you
fuck.
just do,
Things
Jackie?
are going wrong.
Get some help. Ow.
Get out of here, fucking deadbeat loser.
Oh.
God. No one likes
Ranger
to sweat.
shotgun only has one bullet.
Oh shit.
Very forgettable, isn't
Ah,
it?
how did you hit me?
Ow.
I'm gonna get this fucking
This
ugly
guy's literally about to come over here.
bitch out of here.
Did someone screech in their car?
That was me.
She did it and I did.
Were you playing in a car and screeched your tires?
Hot Wheels.
Exactly.
I do want to play that Hot Wheels game with you at some point, Vaughn.
It's
I've been playing
not
it.
the thing I wanted.
Vibrant.
Ah! Oh my god, this fucking gold dude. I want to get so bad.
Gold man cake is something else.
Ow!
He's a fucking weird.
Got him.
I did not see that guy. Holy shit.
Oh, there's
I
another
thought he was
person.
gonna say
Oh,
gobble
it's right here.
gobble.
Yeah, there was definitely another person, and I definitely just died to them. Is gobble gobble just your
Alex
cry
said
now?
Gobble gobble. Me?
Yeah.
Probably.
Get out of here.
Ah, damn it, Vaughn! You just stole my fucking kill.
Sorry, but there's people literally aiming at coming from the house and being fucking dickheads. We should really charge at this
That
house right
fucking
now.
sucks.
Where? Oh,
Ugh,
bitch.
finally.
oh, the floating house?
Owie,
Yeah.
that bitch.
Yeah,
Going
you
up
better fucking go down.
Oh, I thought these two
Oh my
fishing
god,
rods
I
was the
barely
first
have
one first.
any fucking ammo anymore, dude.
Alright.
Ah, don't kill me.
Get out of here.
Nice.
Don't kill me.
Yeah, there's really not many people up here, actually. I'm going back down. Down is where the chaos is.
Ow! What the fuck?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh, person coming up the hill next to you, Beck.
Yep.
Holy shit, there's a lot of people.
I'll avenge
Ah!
you. Oh, never mind. Someone else already got him.
Oh my god.
Ow.
Oh yeah, we were dominating.
This guy needs to
the-
fucking chill. Holy shit.
What the fuck, man?
Oh, we're about to
That
finish, don't
marksman-
even worry.
Fucking rifles. Oh,
Yeah,
and
the
there goes
game's
that
almost
monkey.
over. No worries, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Got him! I killed the man cake for the last kill!
Let's go, Alex. You should donkey lap him. Okay.
Nah, I'm already even, but I got him.
Nice. I'm just dancing
Yeah, no,
in front
that
of this
man
girl that
cake.
lost.
We actually have to go back to lobby this time.
Yes, this time we have to go back to lobby.
Oh.
She's like, damn it, the one guy we didn't, the one time I did it right.
The one guy. What?
I
Who's
did say the
guy?
one guy. I did say guy. Oh, you know that one guy?
Yeah, I know that one guy.
Yeah.
Damn. Quentin Tarantino says current film era is one of the worst in history.
Here, story.
History.
I'll agree with that.
What is the? Sorry, I I like blanked on what you said. What
He
did
said
you
the
say?
current era of filming is
The worst in
is the
history.
worst in history. Yeah, I
Okay.
can partially agree with that.
Yeah, fair.
Maya he, Maya ha,
damn it.
Maya ha,
I don't see you making a movie, Quentin Tarantino.
Maya
Make that
he,
Kill Bill 3, I
Maya
guess.
hu, Maya ha, Maya ah ah. I love that emote so much.
I wanted to meet you so bad.
Wait, what?
I wanted to mute you so bad.
It's such a good emote.
I'm
I don't
hovering
know why
over the
you hate
mute
it.
button.
It's such a good
Legitimately
emote.
hovering over it.
It is a good emote.
Feck.
Oh god, where is it? Hold on. Oh, hold on.
No, ready up, dude.
Oh,
The only one. The only one.
I didn't realize I wasn't ready. I thought I was.
Also, yes, this is a good emote.
I'm gonna go to the Herald Sanctum for this next game, depending on where the circles are.
Oh shit, we're in sync.
Not on screen.
Well, on my stream, you guys can see how in sync we were.
We're in sync.
Well,
Oh,
now
yeah,
go
now
to
you're in sync.
now go to Feck and Alex's stream because we are nowhere near in sync on mine.
Okay, actually your arms are opposite on my screen, but you're moving together left and right.
we weren't even doing that on mine. Not even close on mine.
You were even near my power level. I don't even know where I was going with that.
My power level is over 9,000.
It's over 9,000.
Oh shit.
I don't even watch anime.
Oh, hi Feck.
They see me somewhere? Oh, hello.
Yeah, you spawned right next to me.
You see me?
I hadn't loaded in yet, so you might have seen me, but I was not. I was in fact not there.
Yeah, no, you literally just spawned right in front of me.
Oh my god. I don't know where the flare. What the fuck is the flare ship?
Not mode.
And a mode.
Yeah. I thought that was the
Are you
actual.
What
strangling
the
a
fuck is
cat?
happening? Holy fuck!
I'm glad we were all on the same page.
What are you doing? Oh my
I'm so
lord.
glad Zoe didn't hear that. She would have lost her shit.
Honestly, so would BB.
Well, you can tell him the story, Jackie. You can tell him the story because I already.
I'm sorry?
You can tell him your little story about that.
About strangling a cat? You have a story about strangling a cat? What the fuck?
Wait, what was my story? I'm confused now.
About the little whistle that you do.
And this is my story on how I strangled a cat.
Yeah, this is my story on how I murdered.
No, this is my story of how I make myself
murdered
sound
a
like I'm
cat.
strangling a cat. I just put my
I like your word
No.
choice. You
Yeah.
made yourself.
It wasn't voluntary, I mean...
I made myself learn how to sound like a strangled cat.
Yes, exactly.
Casual. It happens.
So wait,
you know?
what was the actual story? What's going on? What happened?
Yeah, why
Oh,
did you take
I
this
can make-
opportunity?
It sounds with my two lips. Wait. Okay.
What?
Huh?
All I heard was
I
sounds
can,
like
I
two
yeah,
lips.
I can make sounds with my two lips is what I heard. I'm like, what?
I just, I don't know how to describe it.
It just do.
Yeah,
It just happens, you know?
It's just doodly-doo.
yeah. I guess I just like this sounds wrong, but I suck on my teeth. That sounds weird. Okay.
No, it actually sounds
Wait.
pretty normal.
I
Hi, Vaughn.
think that way. I mean, that's fine. Hi, how's it going? Wait, did you need that hammer assault rifle?
I like the fact that someone's
No.
trying to do it.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh.
No,
Yeah,
it sounds even.
sounds so
It
much
sounds
like a
so
strangling
bad.
cat.
It sounds awful.
Leave
For
that
cat
fucking
owners,
cat
it sounds
alone.
for cat owners, it sounds really bad.
No, my friends thought I had multiple cats on me.
I mean,
Sounds like
yeah.
Tara when he gets his
You
claws
had
stuck in something.
cats?
It sounds.
No, I'm just strangling them.
Yeah, it legit sounds like a baby
Exactly.
kitten is in terror.
Oh, that's so funny.
I do finally have fireflies though, and I am ready
I like
to
the fact that
burn
you guys-
things.
I like the fact that you guys just stayed quiet and then I made that sound stays
Oh,
quiet for
actually,
a few seconds. later.
Well, because we had to figure out what the fuck you were
we
going
had,
on
yeah,
about.
we had to process what the fuck was happening.
Wait, no, everything's fine, you know?
Oh, Maggie, if you get to where I am, I have a shield kick going on.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Because every little thing is
It's gonna be alright.
Right.
Yeah, here you go. Shield kick. I don't know how much more is left in it, but you should be able to get more shield off of it.
Don't worry about
Mhm.
a thing.
Okay, by raise of voice, how many of you guys watched the movie Flushed Away?
Me,
I
I own it. I
like-
watched it like 20 times. It's such a
I
good
watched
movie.
it, I think, the year it came out on DVD,
Mhm.
and then I've never seen it again.
Okay, fair.
Maybe.
Flushed
Flushed
Away.
It's a movie about a whole bunch of rats that get
It's a
flushed down
movie
the
about
toilet.
rats that get flushed down. So I take that as a no.
It's a
No,
really good
okay.
I don't
movie.
think so.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna make Maggie
I
watch
probably
it
did,
first
but I
thing in
just I'm not
January.
good with names.
She has not watched it. Do you know the song "Rolling Down the River"?
Rolling,
How does it go?
rolling,
Rolling,
rolling down the
rolling down
river.
the river.
It's a good
Sounds
song.
familiar.
Do. Well, it's from like that song is in the movie. If it helps at all, it's probably the most memorable one because it's the last one.
Is it really?
I think
I haven't
It
seen
is-
it,
it is
so
literally-
long that I
that is
wouldn't know.
literally the last song in the movie. Like after everything is happy-go-lucky,
take the Cobra?
they go to end credits
Yeah.
using that song.
Nice.
Where's the
I'm getting shot at.
kill?
They're at the top of the watchtower if you're anywhere
Kill.
near the watchtower. Ah!
Have you tried not getting shot at?
Feck! Shut the fuck up with you and your fucking sarcasm.
Consider not getting hurt.
Consider not dying.
Ow!
Oh,
Well, she did.
she got
Owie.
exploded.
She went out with a bang.
I wonder if I've gotten texted yet about how
Thank you,
loud
Maggie.
I'm being, because
In
I'm
fact,
being
Do you
pretty
want a
loud.
Cobra?
Woo.
No.
Not what.
Want a cold
was
brew?
supposed to
Yo,
happen.
pass it over.
I was about to say, Feck, are these your splashes right here?
What are
Yeah.
we passing over?
Yeah, okay.
A cold brew? Yes, please.
Cold brew.
Cobra.
Ikibiki. What up, bitch?
No.
Ow! My ass!
I don't know I should drink coffee at all.
Your ass.
Sorry, I got bit by a wolf.
What a.
What else?
Wow.
Shit!
Kind of fucked up.
No, you're not.
Damn, fucking roasted. Jesus.
Kind of fucked up.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I hit the one with
Alex,
the flying jar, though.
what
Let's go.
just happened?
I made someone burn. That was exactly my mission.
Don't you dare try to fucking set me, you bitch.
Now I just need to set things on fire. Woo!
You okay, Maggie?
Sorry. Ow.
Oh, it hurt.
Died. Maggie. Oh,
Oh, that hurt.
there are things happening.
No.
I got shotgun in the face? What? Since when? What
Wait,
the
no,
fuck?
no, 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 no. Oh, fuck, I still don't want that. What the fuck?
Oh, I'm coming to avenge you.
Him.
No, I did not avenge you. Oh, you
No,
dropped keys
you
when you
did
died?
not.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
I avenged
Maggie,
both
land
of
somewhere where there
you.
isn't enemies. I have something for you.
Don't you fucking dare.
Bitch.
Ow. Ow! I
Goddamn.
angry by many directions.
Someone just sounded like the person that says it's Wednesday, my dudes.
It's Wednesday, my dudes. So if you
Shit.
splash yourself and deal damage to somebody, that's a mission right now. Now go deal damage.
Shit.
I'll hold on to this for you. Let me know when you need another by coming to me. There's a person up here. Let me see if I can distract them and come over here.
Ow, son of a
Sometimes I
bitch.
just want to kick
Right here, Max.
somebody
Get him.
in the face.
Hey, I got your
They
kill,
like to
bitch.
piss
Oh.
me off all the time. Piss me off all the time.
Oh damn! I tried to splash you again so you can get it again.
Who's pissing you off, Vaughn? What is happening?
I don't know. It was just something I was just saying.
If you land by me, I can splash you again.
What was that voice?
I'm sorry. Did I tell you guys that I can make weird sounds with my voice as well?
Oh yeah, we got that. I died. The splashes are right here though, Max.
Sometimes
I was
No,
just
the-
like,
the
yes,
dying
we
cat.
understand.
Face where they don't have to mess with me.
Well, that's just manipulation of air, her dying cat noise.
Hey, bitch.
Manipulation of air is not, you know,
Come here.
weird
Come
noises.
here.
Well, yes, but she
Ish.
said with her voice. Manipulation
That-
of air and your voice are different.
That's still
Yeah.
applicable.
Well, there's part of that.
Mm,
I would argue it's applicable.
Yes.
I can make a stupid doy noise.
Boing.
that's all I got.
Are you talking? No. You're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Hi! Holy shit. Everything's fine. I'm fine.
Like, oh, what was that?
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that.
Yep. I think you and I are the only two people I know that can actually make that noise.
Colin used to be able to do
How
it.
do you guys do that?
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I.
You're
I do not know.
You do better
Oh,
at
hi,
explaining.
Vaughn. So, you make a weird, like.
Shit, dude.
You make a weird form with your mouth and say the word girl. If you have done it for a long time, you can manipulate it without using your hand. But at first, if you use your hand, it's a little easier. Oh, hi, Vaughn. Again.
If
How
you
are you?
use your hand even after you learn how to do it without your hand, it does sound cleaner as well.
It does. You're right. I don't. Okay. Oh no, this is bad. This is so bad.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Oh.
I was literally just
Hi.
trying to chrome you up, Max. Oh hi.
I just saw. I was gonna say I just saw Dreamer. I just saw Moon.
Fuck. In the dream.
Sorry, hi.
You saw
Well,
Dream
she's
SMG.
playing as she's playing as Dreamer.
Oh.
Ow.
Maggie.
There was an imposter feck. Ow, that hurt.
Go deal damage.
It's like you're telling the Pokemon.
Oh, I just saw you die.
Go Maggie, I choose you.
Hey, I just got beamed by Black Panther.
There's a
What?
bunch of people over here. Deal damage,
Black
Maggie, you
Panther
can do
just
it.
beamed me.
Oh.
I just killed Black Panther.
I
I'm not
saw
sponsored,
that,
so I can't do
dude. That is
That's
not
not
something
a
to
good
say
thing.
right now.
That's not
That is
something to
that is
say.
not a thing to
Too
say
soon,
right now.
too soon.
What happened?
Nothing. Everything's fine. We're not gonna repeat that.
Yeah, it's
That's
Oh,
not
type
something
it-
to
type
repeat.
it to
Honor the
Snapchat.
poor guy.
Yeah, if you want to know, Vaughn, just text her.
excuse me.
I'm gonna work on gathering you some more splashes.
Fuck me. God damn it.
People trying to claim our mountain. We will not let that happen.
Behind you.
What did you just say? Claim what now?
Stuff. Yes. Okay, we're good. Or we're not good.
Oh, Max, where are you? Go damage people.
Oh my mamma mia!
Mamma mia, here you go.
Somebody else.
Get him,
Somebody
Max.
just fucking killed that guy. Hey, fuck off, bitch.
Get him,
Oh.
Max.
All right.
Right here.
No. Oh,
That's really fucking annoying.
I'm so confused.
There's also a person behind you.
confusion is.
I'm out of splashes, so I'll help you now.
Ah! Stop stealing my fucking kills, bro. Shit.
Oh, I got both of them. It's lovely.
Nice.
In the game, people.
One more for the road?
Sure.
One more for
Yeah,
the
sure.
road.
Right, one more for the road. Let's do it.
Play again. Or ready
Play
up.
again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, someone just died.
It was me.
Wait,
On the inside.
someone's in lobby.
On the inside.
No, it's gonna show that you and Maggie are in the lobby because it only has 4 spots on the bottom and you guys joined after the 4 of us did. But we're all still in this screen.
Oh, I've had so many streaks.
Hey, how you doing, Nightmare? Welcome to the stream.
Nightmare is not Nightmare anymore. I don't know what to call them anymore.
So,
Nightmare is
Nightmare.
Elusive Vision EXE.
so
but he
motorbike
will forever be
chariot
Nightmare to me.
racing is
The
a
elusive
thing.
one.
What?
Good, how you doing? I'm doing good.
Is it finding a game for anybody else? Because it says none of us are ready.
It's
It
just
says,
finding next match.
Finding next match, yeah. 55 seconds.
I do not see that at all.
Same. It says waiting for.
I mean, if it's an
later.
issue, we can always drop out
Yeah.
and reload
Alrighty,
the lobby if
I'm
anything.
already up again.
Ready up again?
Oh, that's what I just did, is ready up again.
Well, I just did it again.
Alright.
Same.
Why is it not in here?
Sorry?
What? The only one that it says it isn't is for Maggie.
There we go.
There it is. All right, I can visually see everybody with a check mark now.
Yep.
We have 15 seconds.
The thing is,
10
it gave us
7
all,
seconds for me.
I got 27. It gave us all,
3, 2, 1.
Bye, guys.
Back to lobby.
There we go. Great. Awesome. At least something happened.
Yeah, we got kicked out.
Yeah, it's better than fucking waiting. We can at least do something.
Like, wait again.
Islander prevalent? What the fuck? Oh, it's a sedan.
Maria.
Oh my god.
Maria. Maria. It's such a good emote. I don't care what anyone says.
Just mute Alex, so you will never hear it again.
Or me. Ever.
Good. The problem
won't
is,
say
if
it,
I
but I will
mute
just
you
forever use
and then
it.
I hear, and then I get into a lobby with you again, I'm not gonna understand what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna remember that I muted you, and I'm just not gonna hear
Because everyone's
you.
gonna be like, Alex, what the fuck did you say? I'm like, wait, he said something?
He was talking. For some reason, I haven't heard his voice all game. For some reason, I've been
Alex
happier.
has been really quiet.
That was mean.
Good thing to
That was
say.
mean.
The thing is, I would totally say the same thing too.
That was so mean. I'm so sorry.
It was funny though.
Oh my god. Why are you dancing in your chair? It's like-
I don't know. You literally pull out a chair just to dance.
Yeah. I don't understand.
As opposed to, you know, just relaxing like Feck.
Yeah.
And I'm just grooving. Or gaming. Yeah, gaming's a good option.
Yeah. Dude, what the fuck is happening tonight? I guess one more game just ain't fucking happening.
There it is. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
There it is once again.
It's always one more game, but never actually play the game.
Yeah, it's always LGs with no game. LG without the
I'm
G.
not in the game.
Last.
Just
What?
last, yeah.
Just last.
She's not in the game. Holy shit! What the fuck?
What
Wait,
happened?
you're not in?
Oh my god.
Alright, last game's not happening for one of us.
Return to
Back
lobby.
to lobby. Yep, back to lobby.
Wait, I was here.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Hey,
Well, we're already loading now. That's your fault.
What just happened?
We load at different speeds.
That's so
boy.
weird. Fortnite fix your shit.
Hey, Nightmare.
Yeah.
No, it was
No, it's
fine. It was
because
Moon.
It literally, no, it wasn't me. It literally said.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, hey Maggie, come back to lobby. She's here.
It literally said not ready, and I was like, oh. And then all I saw you guys is like glitched, and I was like, oh, I'm not playing.
Oh.
Yeah, Fortnite just lagged on her.
Fortnite is a special creature some days.
I mean, that's what it did for me when I was playing with just Vaughn and Alex, I think. Alex disappeared, then Vaughn disappeared, and I was just staying here, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Stoically.
Yeah, I was like, why am I not in? In fact, you okay? I heard hello and nothing happened.
Yeah, I guess Nightmare can't hear me.
Oh.
Oh.
What did you do on your stream? What
Leaving the
happened?
door open, guys.
No, I can't edit settings. I'm streaming from the PlayStation.
So, hold on, let me open up your stream and
Hey,
see.
Brit,
Wait, so
ready
Nightmare
up.
can't hear you?
Oh, Nightmare can.
Oh. What did you say, Feck?
Are you gonna ready up?
I thought it was.
Ready up.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Damn.
Wow! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Wow.
Hi, Nightmare. How are you?
Oh my god.
Wow.
Like your hair? Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Wow.
Right now, it's in a point.
Wow.
Wow.
Good. How are you? I'm alright. I'm doing alright.
Wow.
Bored in the
Good
house.
job.
And I'm in the
Wow.
house. Bored. Bored in the house. Bored in the house.
What the
Bored.
hell was that?
Oh.
It's like that cat with the deep voice.
Oh.
Oh.
What?
I said I could make this
Meow.
help.
Meow.
Or
It's-
what
it's
You
about
guys
corpse
know what I'm
cat.
talking about, right?
Yeah, it's
Or-
corpse
Yeah,
cat.
yeah.
No, I don't actually.
Or
Sorry.
Alex, what about the slow-mo Yoshi? Bring home.
Oh.
Bring
Yeah, I love
ha.
that so much.
It's such a good meme.
Good meme.
Yoshi's my favorite fucking character too, so I love it so much.
Yeah, I was about to say, what are other things? Yoshi,
Hibbity, what?
Yabbity yabbity ha.
I don't think I could do Yoshi English.
I just remember yada yada dase.
Yada yada dase.
Yeah.
That's too low.
Stitch?
Ohana
Hello?
means family.
Stitch, hello? Who did that?
The fuck?
Oh, wait, did that actually sound like Stitch?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Kinda.
Oh,
I need
don't
somebody
know why.
to entirely redub Lilo and Stitch, but make Stitch Morgan Freeman.
Hello,
Wow.
I'm Stitch.
Hello, Stitch.
Ohana
don't
means
know.
family.
I don't know why I thought that was Maggie doing that voice.
They need to
She
do
does
this.
do that voice frequently.
They need to do the same thing with Yoda.
Oh, I'm not big family.
What?
Yoda Stitch.
Yoda Stitch. No, just like a deep voice Yoda.
Oh, I'm not big family. Oh,
They should
okay.
just
Give
redub
me-
every movie with the guy who voiced Optimus Prime in the live-action movies.
Oh, no.
Yes, or like that typical narrator voice, or like no, the narrator from Halo.
No.
Oh,
No. Everything needs to be the fucking Siri automated voice.
Oh no, that would be so annoying.
What about Alexa?
That'd be so
Who's Alexa,
obnoxious.
Oh, that
Oh,
sucks.
okay.
Oh, that really sucks.
Alex is just like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and then things only got worse. I called a supply drop, but I forgot about the storm. Here's supply drop. Come quicker.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't do
Maggie,
the
if
hunt
you-
the glowing.
Maggie, if you take the tornado, it's a mission. If you
Ride
can find a
on the
car and go in there for 10 seconds,
tornado.
that's also another mission.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Oh, she aimed at my head.
I
that.
killed her.
Cheese on my head?
She aimed at my head.
Oh,
Cheese on my head.
I
You're
heard, yeah, I
welcome.
heard cheese on my head.
Cheese, nice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Shez.
cut the cheese.
that's why I was really. You
Please
didn't-
don't. Okay.
Yeah,
too
no,
late.
no,
no. I got that from Karu Shit movies.
That
I
it doesn't
didn't want you to
matter.
cut the
Just
cheese.
don't do it. Just
wait,
don't cut it.
I don't want to do that.
Leave it uncut.
Leave it uncut.
I just
Director's
want the
cut.
block. The director's cut of cheese.
Oops.
Imagine they make a movie.
I
called
like that.
Cheese.
Just leave it uncut. I'll take the whole fucking block of cheese.
Yeah.
Take the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
damn thing.
Take a big old bite out of a block of cheese.
Oh no, please! I don't want to see that. I don't want
What
anybody
do, you,
just.
what do
fucking
you mean? That's actually like the way a lot of people eat it.
Yeah.
eating like without cutting.
Glitched.
Like
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, just a block of cheese.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm
Yes!
actually
Like,
We're
serious.
not
This is
Johnning
small
you. We are not Johnning you. This is a real thing.
This is legit.
I like
People
cutting.
found a
it
way
small.
to make cheesecake a thing, and you're gonna question people just biting a whole thing of cheese.
True.
I actually don't like cheesecake.
I,
I've never tried it. But I don't think I would like it.
Cheesecake is actually really
Yeah,
good.
bro,
Like,
you can't say
I
you
was
don't
one-
like cheesecake if you've never tried cheesecake.
here's
I
the
was
thing.
definitely an anti-cheesecake guy for a while, but no,
I don't
I'm
like
definitely-
eating like I don't like eating just like cheese on its own. I will eat cheesecake every day for the rest of my life, if given the choice.
True.
I won't go that extreme, but I do like
Yeah,
cheesecake.
Don't get me
absolutely-
wrong. I would love to eat like any type of like, block of cheese and stuff like that. But I just can't eat Kraft cheese. Kraft cheese. It's just,
Like sliced cheese?
yeah.
Why?
It depends on the cheese, I guess.
Well, it depends on
I'll
the
eat
cheese.
easy
but the
squeezy
Kraft-
cheese every fucking day of
Kraft
the week,
cheese-
bro.
Oh, you talking about
is-
like the spray cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah. Spray
Yeah,
I'll,
cheese.
spray
I'll
cheese is
have
good.
easy cheese for the rest of my goddamn life.
I will
Put that on
only
some
eat-
fucking club crackers.
There's also the
Yes.
cheese
Or
sticks,
or
too.
chicken in a biscuit crackers.
Yes. No, I actually prefer
Amazing.
French onion dip before my phone dies. Oh no, no worries.
Cheesecake
French
is technically a type of pie, but they don't want to call it.
I'm guessing,
pie
Nightmare.
because-
Yeah.
Good. Nobody processed that information. It's really good.
You're welcome.
No, I did.
I guess thankfully you didn't hear a goddamn word you said.
Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I said something that
I
would be
helped
pretty
somebody.
controversial. I think. Hey, can somebody chromify this boar if they have chrome?
I can chromify a wolf because I'm next to one.
I don't have Chrome.
Sad.
Yeah.
Hey! Come here.
I didn't know that
got
the
him.
glowing animals, like with like the chickens that are gold and shit like that, counted too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
I
Hey,
only thought of the
hey,
shark.
Don't explode my friends. Don't explode my friends.
Explode the-
Oh, well, I killed somebody. That's fine.
Fresh our friends, not food.
Fucking drift got me.
Oh,
They could be
bye,
food.
bye.
Oh, bye, Feck.
I love seeing the exploding goo from a distance because it just kind of
Wait.
sticks in the air.
Heck, I don't know why
Yeah.
I thought you were on top of this vault.
Nope. I'm in front of it, opening it currently.
Hey!
Opening what? What?
A vault.
Oh.
Opening the vault. You're alien.
That's you.
Wait, did you take my key when I died? What the fuck?
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about, is how you could drop keys.
You motherfucker took my key!
I didn't intend to. Just kind of happened.
Ah!
The key just happened to appear in my inventory after you died.
I didn't know it was yours.
You're a monster.
He's just like, I'm gonna take your key and just
I
use
can
it for
swallow it up,
myself.
swallow it up, swallow it up.
Bye, bitch.
Feel like a Godzilla.
Oh, fuck you. God damn it. Fucking Harley
Monster.
Quinn.
Me in my way, I'ma feed you to the mouse.
Ow.
I don't know what to say.
I am just
Level
blasting
113.
everybody that walks through that door.
Dad, what are your
Nick,
opinions on
you
eggnog?
are
Eggnog is good as fuck.
Real-life dumbass.
Eggnog is amazing. Who would
Yeah.
diss eggnog? What the fuck is wrong
Maggie.
with you?
Um,
Maggie, respectfully, what the fuck is wrong with
Feck
you?
as well.
Feck. I don't care about respect. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know. Maggie
Oh,
sounds
dear.
Maggie sounds like the only logical person here.
I
Says
think
the person
you're
that's also
wrong.
being illogical.
I am very logical.
In what
Logical.
sense?
Who uses that these
Who's
days?
logical?
Yeah, what?
Anyway, do you guys
logic?
want to hear what I said earlier that you didn't hear?
Yes.
Sure,
what
sure.
did you say?
Yeah, sure.
Cheesecake is technically a pie, but they don't call it that because cheese
It,
pie
it is.
sounds good.
It is a pie. It is a pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheese pie does sound gross.
I mean,
And, yeah,
I
eggnog kinda
eat
sounds-
spaghetti pie, which sounds
It's
questionable
just
at
spaghetti
best.
in a shape.
Yeah, it's just spaghetti in a pie shape, but so is
Yeah.
cheesecake.
Why is some? I just realized that the person I just killed, his name's Booty Slayer. What the
I just
fuck?
realized you
That's
can't.
sounds about right.
Wooden structures that become chrome, you can't, burn. I've
Huh?
learned. If a wooden structure becomes chrome, it cannot burn.
I just don't think you've
Burn.
tried hard enough.
I heard fern and I got a little excited.
Bye,
If
bitch.
I blow up a truck next to wooden structures, will that count as igniting it?
Yes?
Maybe.
I didn't.
It will probably set that wooden structure on fire.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to try.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Well, doing good, Beck.
Big dog eye boogie.
Huh. Nice.
I don't
like
think
that
it counted.
Then I don't know what to say.
Oh my god, Harley Quinn, you need to fucking chill
did not
out
count.
and leave.
I am
bitch.
sorry.
You're not sorry.
Why are you sorry? Is it your fault?
Yeah, I'm the one that caused it to not.
You bastard.
I caused it to
Oh,
not,
wow.
you know.
I didn't know how else to word it.
Fuck off. Holy shit, dude.
Holy shit,
I
babe.
just landed. What the
Dude.
fuck?
It
Did you
did.
die by the vault?
Yes.
My movement is so
Just
clean.
fucking landed, bro. I don't understand. Oh, cause it's fucking... It's a bitch over here in the fucking tree.
Oh my god, people are trying to snipe me. Oh!
Leave the tree, bitch.
Leaf the tree.
Leaf the tree.
Good, he left the goddamn tree.
Oh, I killed Booty Slayer.
Sick of those people. yeah, I've done that a few times.
You slayed the booty slayer.
Oh no.
Slayed booty?
Slay
that sounds
booty.
worse.
Slay
That
booty.
sounds so much worse.
Way worse.
That sounds so much
Worse
worse.
on your mind.
Aw, feck, you just killed the guy I was on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I killed Booty Slayer again. He was coming after Maggie.
The only
Yeah,
other
slay
mission I
the
could really
booty.
do this game.
Oh my
is-
god. I just lagged like
Ah!
crazy. Oh my god, all of these explosions suck.
Maggie, this person following you.
He's trying to slay booties, but he's not doing a very good job.
I gotta go. Y'all have a good stream. Thank you, Nightmare. We appreciate
Bye,
it.
Nightmare.
Bye, night.
Enjoy your night,
Bye.
Mare.
Just got
Sorry, that was stupid. That was the worst.
That was a Vaughn joke.
so mad.
What? Wait, what? What was
Britt made
the
a bad joke.
I really made a Vaughn joke. I really did. And
Wait,
it's
wait,
bad
wait.
that Vaughn jokes are dad jokes.
Yeah.
joke? Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Well, it's not even a dad joke. It's just he tries to do play on words.
He really does. But that's what dads do, right? I don't know. I don't have one.
But he's not a dad.
That was a lot funnier than it needed to be.
I mean, here,
Nah,
so
that's-
say, I'm not
I
dad.
I
mean-
can relate. I have a woman for a dad. So.
Yeah, so like,
That's peak humor, honestly.
not
That's
having a
that's
dad
an
is peak
anti-dad
humor.
joke.
It's yeah. Oh, that was even worse of a joke.
Oh, best play ever.
Oh
done.
shit! Hi. How are you?
Land on your head, bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, die. No, that guy was almost dead. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
God damn
there's
it.
triple. There's triple.
Dude, that's
Triple?
so upsetting. That guy was
Tree
literally
people.
almost dead. Who the fuck is this guy?
Alright, this person needs these as well, so I'm not gonna let him.
Right here.
Oh, he's on top of the tree.
Ah, someone just fucking killed that guy. What the fuck? Somebody just killed the guy I was literally after.
Dude,
Ah, that's so fucking annoying, dude.
What's happening right now? Jesus Christ.
death.
Shotgun him right in front of me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, good. Someone's burning that tree.
Damn, that's
Yeah,
very.
thank god. Oh, this is Booty again.
I'll kill the booty.
Slay!
Got him.
Oh, never mind.
Got him.
Vaughn got him. That's fine.
Got another one.
Somebody just enter my. Hello? Somebody in my
Hello?
room?
Yeah, I came to visit. Got him.
Did you get him?
Hi, mother.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Grandma.
Hey. Well,
Oh, did she hear you talking about booty?
Hold on.
uh-oh.
Oh my.
God?
Oh my god.
Just getting the shit beat out of her now.
So, that was something.
You guys learn new things about me.
Oh, bro, what the fuck? Oh. Sorry. Go ahead.
He's a fluff bunny.
She's a fluff bunny?
So fluffy.
Talking about cat?
Yep, BB-8.
Yeah, BB.
Her nose is so scabby and I don't understand it.
I was just looking to see if it looks like it's better to me. But it does.
I put
It
some
looks
stuff in the
better.
Amazon cart that was like antibiotic type.
You got an electric blanket
Hold on,
on?
I'm gonna mute myself.
Now the stream world. Now the stream knows.
Antibiotics. That's something new.
For the cat.
Goo gun, airborne. Oh, that's an interesting mission. 8 of them? God damn. 7 of them. Get chromified while driving. And talk with characters and deliver the Herald's warning.
Yes.
So many interesting missions.
won't be finished until this season ends. Actually, this chapter. Because I can't even say season. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
chapter. Oh wait, hold on. That doesn't
What up,
make
what up?
sense. I gotta look back when we first got chapter 3.
Uh-huh.
Because with chapter 4 coming out, we didn't have the chapter 3 map for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm gonna head to bed because I got work tomorrow.
Yeah, depending
Have
on
a
how
good
long
night,
Britt might be,
Moon.
I might just hop off. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Oh, there she
Yeah,
is.
we're hopping off too. Have a good night, Britt.
Bye, Britt. Good night, guys.
And night to everyone
I'm gonna
else as
say
well.
Good night.
Callie.
Bye.
Have a good
See
night,
ya.
everybody.
You too. Bye.
See you guys later.
Enjoy.
Later.
See ya.
Love you, Alex.
Bye.
Love you, Grandma.
He says love you too.
Hey, uncle. What the hell?
Alright. I'm muting myself here.
How dare.
What's up, guys? It's Passport here, telling you guys about the channel sponsor. I've been sponsored by them for a while, but I'm stupid. Do exclamation point dummy in the chat right now. Exclamation point dummy. Exclamation point DUBBY. Go to www.gg/Warzy1 or use code Warzy1 at your checkout to get 10% off your W order. It's W Energy. It is these people. It's these guys. It's W. And I got a cool shaker bottle too. This comes with a starter pack. There's this. I believe it's Dragonade and Dub Sludge in the starter pack. They're coming out with a blue raspberry. Can't wait for that. That's literally my favorite flavor ever. So I'm gonna try this live. Actually, I'm gonna open up this package and try this live because I actually haven't tried this flavor yet, but I heard it's good. I'm also drinking an energy drink at it's 11:15 at night. I'm not dumb. I shook up the drink pretty well here. This is again Dub Sludge, Dragonade, Dub Sludge, and something else in the I can't actually remember the last flavor that's in the starter pack. But let me try. It smells really good. Is this like green apple flavored? I don't know. Let's see. Ooh, nice and sweet. It's nice and sweet. It tastes really, really good. Seriously, go to Dubby, get some, get some tubs, or get the starter pack like I did. You'll get a cup. You'll get 3 samples. Blue raspberry again is coming soon. Favorite flavor. I can't wait to try it. Can't wait to have it. Thank you, Dubby, very much for sponsoring me. And again, use code Warzy1 at the checkout. Go to w.gg.com. DUBBY.gg.com. Use code Warzy1 at checkout or exclamation point Dubby, exclamation point DUBBY in the chat right now. Go to that website, use my code, 10% off. Do it. Let's go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Bye. I'm back.
Hello.
Hello? I want to add something to this really quick.
No.
Get off of it. Well, sucks. Mom said hi, by the way.
Oh, hello.
She was just like in passing. She's like, hi, back, and left. There we go.
Ah, yes. Feck is known by somebody's mother.
Yes, you are. You're known as the person that I was going to move to Tennessee to meet. Alright. Well, I'm gonna end stream at least. So you guys have a good
Alright.
night. Peace out. See you later.
Goodbye, stream.
Goodbye.